Smart Men's Business, Reveiw. Yes, today is the 19th of May and it's a Friday. Definitely heading straight into the weekend. And of course, quite lots of events have happened, and that is throughout the week, but definitely that's when it comes to really an end. Hope you're doing great. Yes, it's quite a very calm morning, cold as it's been, of course, in the past days, the past 5 days, and definitely our business, regardless, has to move on like how it ought to go moving. Well, quite lots of discussions, very interesting discussions out there coming up on the show, and well, we have quite a lot for you. You need to stay tuned. You're going to be, really muchly informed regarding these matters, and trust me, it's going to cause some impact onto your business and related life, and also your personal development. Despite the fact that we try so much to develop corporations and all that, but it all starts with you as a person. Like, what's your personal development? What is that you put out there that that distinguishes you, in terms of everything, in terms of your uniqueness, put aside the corporations that you're trying to put out there, but how personally are you developed as an individual? So that's why you need to watch Smart Men's Business. Well, lots and more of those stories are coming up, but of course, before we get into any further discussion, don't forget the markets on the Reveiw platform, which are going to be opening at exactly 8:15 as I speak right now. Just 1 hour and a few minutes left for the markets to open. Now, for you to be a part of these, simply dial *292#, yes, and you'll be available with quite lots of options where you can choose to buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000. You get shillings, and well, life will be much more interesting. Now, the markets, like I said, they will be opening at 8:15. Closing at 3:15 p.m. in South African time, effective Monday up to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when you can access these markets. But at least you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make quite some huge profits for you, and life will be made much more efficient. Well, now heading straight into our morning call. Yes, where males, that is by December 2022. Now, after stamping and DFC, among others, have the highest level of women employees, all centenary Post-Bank, Private Microfinance, Uganda Development Bank, and the PT are still dominated by men. That's according to what we are observing in our morning call today. Probably something you haven't paid attention to, but actually it's really happening right there. Yes, it's 9 minutes past 7. Of course, still driving your business here in the daily Big Started. That is a Smart Men's Business. Well, of course, now away from that, let's shift to our press and take a look at what's really happening. And at this very moment, still joined with Mercy Katsume here to drive your business. Very good morning, Mercy. How's your morning?
Very good morning to you watching. This is Smart Business, and today is a Friday. And that means people are relaxed, a bit relaxed. Given the fact that we are getting into the weekend.
It's heading towards the weekend. And, like I always say, despite the fact that we get so excited about this whole weekend aspect, we need to get back and reflect and, reflect on how the week has been, but also
definitely
project the future week. Well, now as we head straight into what's happening, of course, I have the new Vision and Massacre team is holding the Daily Monitor. Here, what's making headlines? Of course, we need to take a look at the top page of the new Vision. Of course, we see that circles to get 1.2 trillion Ugandan shillings. Yes, circles to get 1.2 trillion Ugandan shillings. And now, a 52.7 trillion budget approved. Yes, approved. And of course, we see security, roads prioritized. And something which I really believe is something great, because we've been really battling with infrastructure and following the incidences where we saw the Massacre route, actually, which was cut off, Massacre Highway, even Kabale Chisoro, I think. Yes, the route, and that is all hampering with tourism there. Okay.
Well, mine on Daily Monitor, I see inside the government's bill, 52.7 trillion budget for next year, and here we see 80 trillion. That is, it is slated for the public debt, which accounts for 80.774 trillion. Then 1,093 GDP per capita projected to grow. 1,993 US dollars, and we have 21 trillion, which accounts for 21.47 that has been allocated to the statutory expenditure. Thereafter, we go to 16.8 trillion Ugandan shillings, which was allocated to the current recurrent expenditure. Thereafter, we have the 52.7 trillion total. That is the total, the budget amount for next financial year, 2023-2024. Yeah, that's it. That's it for the front page. Moving on, we are seeing the cost of rising gun violence actually in Uganda. We've seen a lot of shootings that have been happening currently. Yesterday there was a shooting along Lumumba Avenue. This is quite concerning to us, the citizens actually. Manifesto week, we well know that this week has been the manifesto week, and government pledges to rehabilitate city roads, as it was stated among the KCCA, was it on Monday? Yes, earlier this week on Monday. Now, Kampala, the State Minister for Works and Transport, Mr. Musa Chweru, has pledged to work with Kampala Capital City Authority to rehabilitate a number of depleted city roads. We are really hoping for the very best as we see new roads, as we ride our cars as well, and our borders along the newly constructed roads. Now, 1.5 billion city abattoir cash stolen monthly, says in a report. The Lord Mayor says that corruption at the city abattoir is spearheaded by a clique that he said collects money and shares it with people he doesn't know. Now, this is actually too much. The fact that now people are being corrupted even in abattoirs, this is quite concerning. But we hope that as we fight corruption, we have to keep in mind that it starts with us. It's just a mindset. It's a mindset.
It starts with us. Well, of course, here we see that Ethiopians top army officers over 4,226 acre land road. And of course, according to a report by the International Security Organization, this suspended that is senior officers in the Uganda People's Defense Forces for frustrating government's efforts to democrate. That is a contested piece of land measuring that is about 4,226. So, of course, you'll be finding out more of the details of this report that is from this particular paper of the New Vision. And still further, of course, government begins mandatory registration for the parish development model funds beneficiaries. Well, of course, you see the Ministry of ICT and the National Guidance countrywide. Of course, there is a countrywide registration of the beneficiaries of the parish development model funds for transparency and accountability. Of course, what do we have there? From the Daily Monitor?
Well, this is quite funny and interesting.
Yeah.
Opposition members rise alarm over Museveni's budget for clothes. You know, the Chira municipality member of parliament, Ibrahim Samujunganda,
yes,
was actually had a complaint about the amount that is used for clothing.
The clothing.
Yes, it was. He said it was overrated.
Sure, overrated budget.
Yes, overrated budget
regarding
for
that. And well, here we see regarding horticulture, as of course Uganda is eyeing the United Kingdom market. Now, members of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Exports and Industrial Development last week met one of UK's largest importers, that is of fresh fruit, flowers, beans. Of course, there was asparagus, peas, chilies, broccoli, and so many of those, and indoor and outdoor plant supplier. Of course, quite interesting deals happening in there. And well, the most important thing when you see such things as a dealer there, how best do you position yourself? Of course, now you'll be finding out more of the details when you get yourself a copy that is of the new vision. Okay.
This is still about the roads along Masaka, the river that burst and caused a little bit of delay in travel.
Yes.
And now local traders bask in profit after Masaka Bridge collapse. This is quite interesting because now you would expect some decrease, but then we are seeing them actually happy about this. And many traders say their income has increased and they take home twice what they used to make before the disaster.
Oh, okay.
That means definitely they have hiked their prices.
Definitely, so there has been an increase in prices when when such instances happen, and the worry is that it could lead to a shortage of food supply. Remember when these areas which supply town, because the worst crisis a country can ever be in is when the food prices actually are hiked up. Prices of goods are hiked up. That makes it really very hard to catch up life in that incidence. But anyway, I hope everything will be put back to normal how it should be, and business should move on as usual.
Oh, well, this is quite disturbing. Government seeks ban on free medical service. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Twine, has proposed that government should consider abolishing the provision of free medical services because they are not sustainable and they are making the healthcare system look ugly.
Okay. Wow.
It's quite something right there. So definitely, I'm assuming we've been having free medical services for some particular group of people. Should we say that there has what should those people do about it? Should they
free? Recently there is a push. I don't know how far they've gone into discussions about insurance, whereby there is a mandatory fee which will have to be paid. So literally, it's not in particular saying that they are erasing, because when you're introducing a new system, you have to find ways you can erase the old system. Slowly by slowly. Until it really comes out, then you can implement it.
But are we really certain that this insurance thing is going to catch? We have, as Ugandans, we have this tendency of we shouldn't say slow, but we take our time.
Probably it's just a mindset. It's a mindset
yes,
issue.
Definitely.
But I'm thinking if. Because I believe with time the insurance companies are going to subsidize the rates, so that even a common person is in position to actually, is in position to have access to that.
That's true.
Well, now government and Indian company ink a deal to digitize identification cards. Now the government, digital IDs. Now the government has entered a new deal with the International Institute of Information, of course. Technology, that's Bangalore, an Indian company, to digitize national identification cards. Of course, for people that registered 2014,
soon 2025.
Yes, if you got your ID in 2014, if you are issued to you in 2014, so starting July, actually, I think after next month, there is going to start an exercise for
digital
registration, actually.
Re-registration.
Yeah, re-registration, wow. And that is where we're heading towards, when it comes to technology, digitization of national IDs.
Now, China commits 18 billion for Naguru Hospital upgrade. And this is quite an interesting investment in our very own hospital. Now, the Chinese government has committed $5 million, which is about $5 million, which is about 18.6 billion Ugandan shillings for upgrading China-Uganda Friendship Hospital, which is in Naguru, into a specialized facility for handling only accident and emergency cases.
Okay.
Oh, given this has been a road safety week, I think this is quite
it's
lovely. Considerable.
Considerable, and also considering the fact that, now for the interest of time, it's exactly 21 minutes past 7. Let's take a look at what's happening around. That is, we're talking about Kira Road Junction, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Of course, observing the traffic atmosphere there, how vehicles are actually moving. Now you can get to see, like always, today it's been smooth actually. This entire week there hasn't been a jam around town actually. So you can take a look there. It's a very calm situation for people heading to the different destinations right there. Yeah, it's a calm situation. Now I can see that is vehicles heading into, you see, Mercy, sometimes vehicles can be held in jam and you see such a fleet, but surprisingly when they are set off, they dispose off, and before you know it, it's like as though there wasn't any jam into the situation. Now that is the Ntinda-Bukoto route, which we are observing there. Of course, you can take a look. It's a residential area, and at the same time, it's a working area where people can actually go and work. So you can see the vehicles coming in from Ntinda-Bukoto. It's quite a free. Some even are coming from Chisasi. Yes. So if you're coming in, if you're a resident of those areas and you plan to come to town, and probably you're going to use the Kira Road Junction, well, I think it's okay. There is another alternative where you can pass there. You can connect to Nakawa and still stretch up to city center. But remember, as you're proceeding there, probably what might be unpredictable there to guess is what is happening around roundabout before you connect to city center heading towards one again. But if you're coming in from Bukoto, well, according to the look of things, it seems to be very okay. And now, of course, taking a look at the vehicles coming in from Kampala, heading to Kira, of course, heading to Bukoto Ntinda, that is on Kira Road. Yes, it seems, of course, as always, in most cases, people that are coming to town, it's never really affected. So it's a free lane for you. And if you work in Bukoto, you work in Ntinda, staying in different areas, well, and probably you thought passing via Wandegea, connecting to Kira Road, then Ntinda Bukoto till reaching Ntinda was the best option. I guess you are right about your choice and decision. You will be able to reach in time and execute what you ought to execute in a timely perspective. So that is what we're seeing there. Of course, despite the calm situation, still there are traffic officers controlling these lights because in most cases there is misuse of freedom, abuse of traffic lights. Let me say, once there is no third-party controller there, people normally don't obey the traffic lights. They just travel, move anyhow, and that's where we see, of course, incidences leading to accidents, and so many other related traffic injuries. So that is how it is there. Of course, quite a few pedestrians. In most cases, during school times, actually, that area has quite lots of school children crossing the road, heading towards school, and even primary pupils, secondary students crossing over there. But now, since it's quite calm, there are not so really many as you can observe. And actually, Marcy, if you realize when schools are having holidays, there is not really lots of jam. It shows you how the education sector really impacts this economy to some extent.
Definitely.
Yeah, if it can affect traffic, anything that can affect traffic well, it's something to really take into great consideration. But everything is safe and sound here. If you're coming to Bukoto to do business, well, you shouldn't be worried about jam. It's going to be very okay. Now, of course, taking a look at Jackson to the Gogo bypass. Yes, just 2 cars on the lane. Well, you can imagine how free that is. So if you're coming towards this side and you're going to pass via the route of Jackson to the Gogo bypass, I'll guarantee you that it's a safe zone for you. It's a safe haven for you. You'll be able to reach in time and execute your business rightly and appropriately. Now, taking a look at the Gogo bypass itself, of course, those are vehicles coming in from Tinda Bukoto heading straight to there. Yeah, it's a free lane, of course, connecting up to Nakawa. Yes, Nakawa, where former ShopRite was, Lugogo areas. Well, and even you can proceed. Some are heading towards Bugolobi. Some are heading towards probably Chireka, and they thought probably passing into the other route would be quite a little bit hard for them. And now they chose the Google bypass to link them straight. Well, it is okay. If you're coming in from Tinda Bukoto and you're heading towards Nakawa to execute a business, it is okay. You will be able to reach in the appropriate time. If you're using the Kira Road junction, of course, next to a police station, it's very appropriate for you, and it's actually the right choice for you. Well, it's 26 minutes past 7, and that is it regarding the traffic updates this morning. I just hope you were in position to make the right decision. Well, you're still watching Smart Main's Business, your daily Kickstarter. I'm Andrew Barije with Masi Katsumi, and now let's get into a short break. Of course, when we return, we have quite more interesting stories, and of course, looking at what's happening around East Africa and the international community in terms of business. Good morning.
Smart 24, driving business.